What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another War Within video. Hope you're all doing wonderful. We are going to talk about Master of Harmony Brewmaster Monk today. First of all, let's look at this tier set. This is the new tier set bonus. Isn't this thing so good? I did it in another video, but oh my god. This tier set bonus is like one of the best that they have made. It is just really cool. Anyway, let's look at how Brewmaster has changed in the War Within so far with the patch notes. There are a couple changes to the spec tree. And then we're going to get into Master of Harmony, which is this like talent tree where you build vitality, this new like resource, and then you spend that vitality on either damage or healing, whichever one you want to do. Primarily damage, but you can actually do it for healing. So that's how that whole tree works, okay? Let's look at the spec tree first. There are some big changes that have come through. So first of all, healing elixir is gone. I actually really enjoyed that talent. Just having a little bit of self-sustain with the elixir was kind of nice, but the reality is they want you to lean more into your stagger, more into the way that monk is supposed to feel, which isn't just like, you know, chugging on healing elixirs. You're supposed to be doing other things. So they've replaced that with Elixir of Determination, which says when you fall below 40% health, you gain an absorb shield for 100% of your recently purified damage, or minimum 20% max health. Now, recently tends to mean in the last 5 seconds, but I don't know exactly what they mean by this, but the frequency of this is actually really strong. Like, the amount of healing that this ends up giving you is actually a ton. I can show you really quickly in this. Oops. 1 second. This is the footage I'm going to show you in a second. But I actually ended up showing my overall healing here. Click it, Zuko. There we go. So you can see my Elixir of Determination right here. This is this new passive. So, you know, we lost healing elixir, which was a lot of, you had the ability sort of, it was in your own hands to be able to press healing elixir. And now it's been replaced by this passive effect that actually seemed to trigger quite a bit. And it ended up almost being 10% of my healing, which is actually kind of crazy. So we'll talk more about that later, but that's the new passive that you're given right here. And then there is this new August Blessing heal over time that happens. So when you would be healed above your max health, instead you convert an amount equal to 40% of your crit to a heal over time. Now, this is going to scale into the later part of the expansion because your crit is going to get better. 40% of my crit right now is like, you know, 11% or something. So it ends up being not very good right now. If you look at the overall healing, like that same video I was showing, the overall healing that I had from a dungeon I was doing, August Blessing did like 1.5 million healing over the course of the entire dungeon. It was like 0.6% of my healing. So I don't know if they need to buff this or if it's just going to naturally get buffed when we get more crit. That could be the case as well. Okay, but that's a new little heal over time. Then we have Ox Stance. Casting Purifying Brew grants a charge of Ox Stance increased based on stagger level. When you take damage that is greater than 60% of your current health, a charge is consumed to increase the amount of you stagger. Now, I tried looking at trying to figure out the exact number of how much this increases your stagger, and I could not find it, which is really annoying because that would be nice to know. But like, even I looked at the buffs and I was like trying it on the training dummies and looking in the dungeon and looked at my overall numbers, and nothing really showed me that the actual amount of stagger that you get increased. But this seemed pretty good to me in the moments when I felt like I needed it, when I was getting low on health and like I was getting hit for a huge amount of my maximum health. Obviously, the lower you get, the better this gets, right? Because it's just gonna scale the lower that you get, because 60% of your current health, as you get lower and lower, that becomes an easier number for the enemies to deal, right? So you're gonna end up triggering this a lot more and then increasing your stagger and to keep yourself alive. So a couple of different talents that are actually buffing the bottom like half of our HP. Does that make sense? So like the lower a monk gets now, the tankier you're actually going to get. Very similar to Blood Decay with Will of the Necropolis, where like you just get really tanky. So I like that a lot, actually. It's kind of cool. I don't know if Ox Stance is worth it. I just tried it. We're not really going to know until we do a lot of testing, I think, and be able to see how good this actually is. A couple supporting talents that make it a little bit better as well. Okay? That's it. Those are the major changes. Everything else is basically the same. They've split up a couple of talents like Tranquil Spirit and Guy Plin's Imperial Brew. Those used to be a choice node. They're not anymore, which is nice. The rest of it here. Now, let's look at Master of Harmony. I just want to touch on a couple things with this first. Again, you're building and spending this vitality resource. Now, as you're doing damage the whole time, you're going to store vitality. You can see I have it up here. I have 376,000 vitality stored up. And then I can turn that into damage. And this is kind of what it ends up looking like. If you look at the actual dungeon footage that I was doing, I'll look at it in a second, but this is like a trash pack that I was on. You can see Aspect of Harmony dot. That's actually a lot of damage. That was on a trash pack. If you look at the boss, that's on a boss fight. So the damage is pretty high once again. This is the next trash pack. The damage is pretty high once again. And then if you look at the boss fight, the damages are, it's our top damage on this boss fight. And on this trash pack, it's our third. So like the actual conversion that you're getting from taking this vitality and turning it into damage is very good. Very, very good. Now, turning it into healing seemed to be a lot less beneficial. You can see my Aspect of Harmony healing here is, again, only 1% of my overall healing. There is a way for you to turn this into healing with basically Harmonic Gambit. So during Aspect of Harmony, Expel, Harm, and Vivify will withdraw vitality to heal you. So you can use it as healing, but it did not seem to be doing that much, if I'm going to be honest. Now, how do you actually like expel the stored up vitality? Well, you have to press your Celestial Brew. So the really cool part about this tree, the best part about Aspect of Harmony, is that you get 2 charges of Celestial Brew. This is crazy strong. This is your best defensive bonus. It will end up being your highest heal almost every single time in a dungeon, and you're getting an additional charge of it. It is crazy how good that is. This is really good. I think this just gives you so much more flexibility. You can combo this, of course, with a Black Ox Brew, where you just, you know, you can just spend your brew charges a lot more liberally, and you're going to get them back. And then having this extra charge is just so freaking good. Like, this is really good. I suspect, actually, once Brewmasters have played around with Endless Draught and the Master of Harmony tree for like a couple of seasons, they're going to demand that Blizzard just give us 2 charges of Celestial Brew, because it just makes everything feel so smooth. I'm telling you, it's amazing. That's the best talent in this entire tree, in my opinion. It's very, very good. And then casting Purifying Brew will also store a bunch of vitality, which is really nice based on your stats. So you can, again, this is kind of cool, where you can convert your defense with Purifying Brew into damage, right? In terms of the expelling the vitalities. You can press like Purifying Brew, and then hit a big Celestial Brew, and then you start dumping all this vitality into damage. That's what you can kind of do. So converting defense into damage, very, very cool. The rest of these are really good. Giving your allies Tiger Lust is cool. Rising Sun Kick and Black Hook and Tiger Palm deal additional AoE damage in front of them. The capstone's a little bit underwhelming and kind of hard to understand, but basically, whenever your Aspect of Harmony is dealing damage, there's a chance that it will just like spread. Remember, it's a dot that you're putting on enemies, so you can spread that dot to nearby enemies, and then targets damaged or healed by your Aspect of Harmony take 10% increased damage or healing from you. So again, you're just buffing your damage in general and spreading your dot around, which is cool. It's cool. It's a cool looking tree. I actually like it way better than Shadowpan. I think it actually has some interesting synergies with your kit. And then, of course, 2 charges of Celestial Brew is like disgusting. I don't even know. It's just way, way too strong. So I apologize in advance for the footage here. It's not going to look incredible because it was taken like 3 or 4 days ago when I didn't really have I got a new video card and stuff, and my settings were not worked out back then. But I just want to show you some footage of me kind of surviving here. Look at the amount of healing that we're doing right now, by the way. 500k HPS. I'm not even really doing anything crazy. I'm just pressing my brews. I just think this is the kind of healing you can pull off now as a Brewmaster monk. They've definitely given you more sustain, even though they took away healing elixir. I feel like the sustain is actually quite good from Brewmaster. So yeah, I don't know. It actually just feels pretty fantastic. Hey, fucking pulled it. I'm gonna use a vitality. I'm gonna use some of my vitality here to heal myself. I'm gonna paralyze that guy. Just show you what that looks like really quick. We got this. We're good. So I have a shield on right now, I believe. You can see my health sitting at about half. And then I'm gonna heal big shield now right after this. So I'm at 2,800,000 health. And then we can heal 300, okay, 3.2 million health here, and then I'm going to press my heal, and I went to 4 million. Do you see that? So that's a Vivify heal, an instant Vivify, because you can take that in the class tree. I did an instant Vivify, and then it also used some of the Vitality to heal me, which is really interesting. So that Vivify hit me really hard, and then I'm getting healed over time as well. So I'm getting some really good recovery here, which is kind of cool. So I like that there's an option to do that. You don't have to take that talent, okay? You could opt out of this talent and just say, when your Aspect of Harmony ends, any remaining vitality is released as damage. You could do that. That might even be the better talent. I was just experimenting. This is the beta. This is the whole point of this, right? We're going to experiment and see kind of what this looks like. There's that Elixir of Determination there. I was, you know, dipping below my max health, and it just gives you this insane like heal based on your stagger, so it's really good. And then Celestial Fortune can kick in as well, because Celestial Fortune will heal you based on the amount of healing that you took, right? So really good synergy there. And then there's the Aspect of Harmony heal right there. It did a pretty good chunk of healing on me right in that particular moment, which is really nice. But the Vivify hit for 1 million. I did one, maybe that's 2 Vivifies, but you know, on average they're hitting for like 550,000. That's a lot of healing you can get. So there are ways to keep yourself going as a Brewmaster. There is sustain here, which is good. That's one of the biggest problems with Brewmaster, right? Is continuous sustained healing. They just don't have that. They have amazing upfront mitigation because you're staggering everything, right? And then you're shuffling, which makes your stagger like doubly effective. So when you get hit for 1 million damage, you only actually end up taking like 600,000 damage, and then you're staggering that other 400,000 damage. So it's a massive damage reduction that you have on Brewmaster. That's always the way it works. But your weakness has been over the course of a long fight, you take damage over time. It's really difficult to recover. You're not like a prop paladin where you can heal yourself. It's not like a guardian druid where you can really heal yourself. You're gonna struggle a little bit that way. But I feel like they have just introduced so many different layers of healing, you know? You have the healing spheres that are getting generated by Blackout Kick and Rising Sun Kick. Whenever you take damage, you're getting a healing sphere. Whenever you're dodging, or whenever you're throwing like a keg, you're reducing your stagger amount that you've got going. So, and then on top of that, you've got your big celestial shields, which are great. And those are going to be a lot more plentiful now because you have 2 charges of Celestial Brew if you're taking this tree, which I think you absolutely should. Master of Harmony seem really good. So I was kind of blown away by the sustain, I think, that Monk has now. The instant Vivifies, it just feels good. I'm telling you, it feels pretty good. I think you're still going to be a little bit reliant on healers compared to some of the other tanks, but you can see the last like 30 seconds that I've been talking, I've been fighting this boss without a healer, and I was able to get myself back up to full health and just keep going with this fight without having a healer at all, which is, I think, pretty amazing. So we're getting crunched. We're just gonna keep going here. I am trying to heal as much as I possibly can, and we're able to kind of sustain there. So these guys didn't know how to do this fight. I think we're gonna run into this a lot. In season 1, we're gonna have the Necrotic Wake and Mists of Tyrannus Scythe, and you know, some of those old dungeons that if you played Shadowlands, you know how to do these dungeons. But if some people didn't, and I feel like they're going to come into this new expansion, and we're going to be paired up with people who have never done these dungeons before, and we're going to have to be a little bit patient with them, because I know how to do this. I've done this boss fight 600 times, right? But some people just haven't, so unfortunate. But there's the sustain over a course of a long boss fight. We were able to keep ourselves going. I like it. I think it's great, and I think that this tree overall has a lot of promise. I would say primarily the bonus that you're going to be getting from Master of Harmony is the damage that you're pumping out of it, but there is the chance to get some extra sustain, and I think the most important talent by far is a second charge on your Celestial Brew. That is just going to be so good. Having 2 charges at the beginning of like almost every pull is just going to feel amazing. I'm telling you right now, having that extra shield is just going to be really good. So I just wanted to show you some footage there from that. I wanted to talk about the talents, and then again, these overall numbers. I think you're going to see Aspect of Harmony doing a lot of damage, and that's great. But you again, you can convert it into healing if you want to. Whether that actually ends up equaling a lot of healing, I'm not sure right now. It didn't seem to be doing a lot for me right now, but we'll have to wait and see. This August Blessing thing also is going to scale with your crit, hopefully, as you keep going. And then I will keep monitoring Ox Stance, and I'll give you guys an update at some point to see like how good is this actually performing, because it didn't seem, I couldn't tell what it was really doing. But the bottom line is Brewmaster is in a good spot. From what I could see, it has a little bit more sustain. It definitely gets better with the second charge of Celestial Brew, and the damage coming out of Aspect of Harmony is actually very relevant. It's super good. So that's what you got there for Brewmaster. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Let me know if you're a Brewmaster main, if you're excited about some of these changes like Elixir of Determination and Ox Stance, and some of the changes that have come through with the hero talent trees. I know Shadow Pan has been a bit of a letdown for most people, and I agree, it's really not that great. I think Master of Harmony is a much better choice if you're playing Brewmaster. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. I love y'all. I will see you in the next one.